Hello guys, welcome back to another video, and as you know, in my last video I unboxed Apple's brand new phone, the iPhone 10. Today we are going to be reviewing it and see what different gestures there are in place of the home button. Okay, so now let's talk about the home screen. So the home screen, you can just easily, as you know, the power button, because there is no more home button, or you could just tap it, or you can also raise to wake, just like this. Okay, so now second thing is Face ID. Let's take a look at Face ID. Okay, so now let's take a look how fast Face ID is. So I'm going to do a separate, more in-depth video of Face ID versus Touch ID and which one's faster, more reliable. But all you have to do is raise it, look at the screen, the true depth camera. Hold on, let's try this again. And boom, and swipe up. It is that easy and fast. So I'm going to go ahead and do a more in-depth video coming up soon versus Touch ID. But so far, it has been very fast. It's worked outside and even at nighttime, which I'll talk about more in that video. Okay, so in settings, you can easily just click Setup Face ID, and then it will give you this little instruction. So you're going to move your head around in a circle 2 times to actually get the true depth camera mapping your face, and then basically this is how, it scans it to make sure it matches up with the original face that it was programmed to, which would be your face when you're setting it up, and then it would open up. Okay, so now let's talk about camera. So as you may have known, these rear-facing cameras, they do have OIS built in, which is optical image stabilization in both cameras, and they do have a telephoto and a wide-angle lens, and you could shoot for the first time on a cell phone or a smartphone 4K at 60 frames per second. So you could just, so these are basically the list. It does take up more storage though. And then you can also record slow-mo at 1080p at 240 frames per second, and we'll talk about the camera later. Okay, so let's talk about the gestures now. So there's many different gestures in the iPhone 10. So the first gesture is to get to multitasking. So all you have to do is go from the bottom and pause in the middle for a slight second, and then you'll have and then you'll have the apps that you've recently used. And unfortunately, you can't just swipe up, it just puts the app back. You actually have to hold it down. Either click this minus right here or just swipe out of it. Okay, so the second gesture now, because you to get to multitasking, you have to pause in the middle, and then also if you swipe up, that's a gesture for the home button. So where do you get to your control center? So it's at the top right, and all you have to do is swipe down like that, and you do have the control center right here. Now to get to your notifications, you swipe up from the middle, or you swipe up from this side right here. Either way. And then to get to your search, you just swipe in the middle and it gets your search. Okay, because there is no home button, we were used to clicking the home button and the power button at the same time for a screenshot. Now you do the power button in either volume up or volume down, and you just click it once and it takes a screenshot and you can go there and customize it. So now you may be asking how do you access Siri, because we used to access Siri with Hey Siri, or we would access Siri from holding the home button. You just hold the side button, which is now no longer called the power button because it does have many jobs, so you could just do that like that. And then to power off your device, all you do is hold both of these things down, and boom, it makes a little taptic feedback. You have the slide to power off option, and you do have the emergency SOS. Okay, so now you do have that notch up there that does store all the infrared cameras for Face ID and all these portrait mode, but you also do have, that notch also does take a little bit of space, but I don't really notice it only when you're watching videos. But for example, like YouTube, the app is already updated to fit the notch, but for example, some apps like some other apps that the developers haven't done yet, it does have that bar and the bezel, just like when you have your phone with the bezel like the iPhone 6 and up. Okay, so Apple said that the bass is better in the speakers on the iPhone 10 and is 25% louder than the iPhone 7. Let's go ahead and test this. This is just this is like low volume. And then let's move that up a little bit. So they are using the stereo speakers, one speaker down here and one speaker up here, and then the microphone is here and at the top where the camera is. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, so it's definitely much louder. You can definitely tell. Now let's go ahead. Just for curiosity, let's go ahead and do full volume. So it's definitely much definitely, you could tell that the bass is higher, and this is probably one of the best speakers I've heard on a smartphone so far. So that's a very cool feature. Okay, so now let's take a look at the new wallpapers. So new wallpapers are coming out with iOS 11.2, but this is iOS 11.1. So this is the speaker that does come on the box if you have the Space Gray phone, and it is a live wallpaper, so it does change colors. And this is the one that comes on the silver box, which is the one I'm currently using right now, as you can see right here. And then it's also a live one, and they also have these ones that were on the iPhone 7, and then those are basically the new wallpapers for live. Okay, so another feature probably everyone will like with the iPhone 10 is Animoji. Animoji basically tracks over 50 muscles on your face, and it looks really cool. Definitely stay tuned for more iPhone 10 videos. I do have an iPhone 10 video coming out where I will be shooting at 4K at 60 frames per second versus the iPhone 7 and maybe the iPhone 8.